If your lower back posture looks like this, but you would like to straighten it out so it looks a little more like this, you're in the right place. This is the video for you. I'm Dr. Jared, and in this video, I want to share with you 6 of the best exercises that you can do to correct your lower back posture and also eliminate any pinching or pain that you might be experiencing in your lower back. Now, the reason why this is so effective is because we're going to address the root cause of this issue. Specifically, what happens is your hip flexors and lower back get tight and pull your pelvis into this position. Then also your lower abs and your glutes are weak. They're unable to unround your pelvis and unround your back. And so if we stretch those areas that are tight, your hip flexors and your lower back, and we strengthen those areas that are weak, your lower abs and your glutes, your pelvis unrounds, your back straightens out, and you start to look and feel a lot better. Let's get started with my favorite stretch for your hip flexors. What I need you to do is come into this tall kneeling position with one foot forward. I've got my left foot forward, I'm down on my right knee. Now in this position, I want you to maintain really good tall posture as you shift your weight, slide your weight forward onto your front foot, just until we get a good stretch right here through the front of this hip. Sometimes it even helps to enhance that stretch if you contract the glute on this side. So squeeze the glute over here and then lean your waist forward, lean your hips forward until we get a good stretch right through that hip flexor right there. What you would do is hold this for about 20 seconds and then repeat it 3 times on the right, and then we would also do it 3 times on the left. Again, that's my favorite stretch for those tight hip flexors. For your lower back, there's a couple of different stretches that I usually start with. If you have some knee pain or if you're intolerant to kneeling fully on your knees, what I like to do would be the double knee to chest stretch, meaning we're gonna come right here on my back. I'm going to grab both of my knees and I'm gonna pull them up into my shoulders like this. And you'll see what that does, that it actually unrounds the pelvis. We're causing that lower back to bend the opposite direction, the direction that we need it to stretch out, just like this. So you'd hold that in a comfortable position for 20 seconds and repeat that 3 times. Now, if you can kneel on your knees, I do like the child's pose stretch. This is a popular yoga pose to stretch out the lower back. You're gonna come onto all fours, my hands are out in front of me, and then I'm gonna keep my hands down as I kneel down onto my heels. Just until we get a good stretch through my lower back. You'll see my entire back is kind of rounded in this C shape or this hump shape in this direction. And again, hold that for about 20 seconds in that comfortable range, come out of it and then get back into it again. And we're going to repeat that one 3 times. Now, those are the exercises that I like to lengthen those areas that are tight, to create that available motion that we need our lower back to be in. Now what we need to do is strengthen in that position. These are the exercises that I like for that. The first thing I want to do is train your back and train your pelvis to stay in the right position, or stay in the right posture. And so a posterior pelvic tilt exercise is where I always like to start. Lay down on your back with your knees bent. In this position, you might notice that your back is arched up off of the floor, that there's some space between your lower back and the floor. What I want you to do is focus on your hips, focus on your lower ab muscles. You're gonna contract your lower abs to flatten your back into the ground and bring your pelvis backwards. So we call that a posterior pelvic tilt. I would hold that for about 2 to 3 seconds and then you can relax. So arch your back up off of the ground again and now flatten it down into the ground. Use those stomach muscles nice and tight. Hold that contraction 1, 2, 3 seconds and then unround it again. This is just a great way to work some mobility into your lower back and some mobility into your pelvis. I would have you repeat that about 10 to 20 repetitions. From there, we can take strengthening one step forward by including a reverse crunch. And so what we're going to do is same position, same setup, and now I'm going to flatten my lower back. So I'm going to do that posterior pelvic tilt. Now I want to hold my back in contact with the ground and just lift my heels up off of the ground and then return right back down. You'll notice that as you return, your back is going to want to pull off of the mat, meaning the weight of my legs as they're lowering wants to lift my back up off of the ground. The lower abs come in when you try to hold that nice and tight. So I want you to hold your back tight to the floor as you lift your legs, both knees up towards the ceiling, and then return right back down. Again, the emphasis is trying to keep your back flat and your stomach tight while you do this. And so what I would recommend is about 10 repetitions, repeated 3 times. Now, once that starts to become easy, another exercise that I love to strengthen the abs and the lower abs is going to be a plank. So we're going to start in a modified plank position. And so roll over onto your stomach. In this position, I'm going to pop up onto my knees and onto my elbows. But what I want you to pay specific attention to is I don't want your back to round this way. You'll see how my back is big and arched right now. Do not let that happen. What I want you to do is engage those lower ab muscles to flatten your back out. So basically, we're going to do one of those posterior pelvic tilts while we're up in the plank position. Makes it a little more effective, makes the exercise a little more challenging. And then we're going to hold that position. That's what we want. We want this static strength that we can maintain over time to hold our pelvis in a better position and flatten our back out. This is a great way to train that. And so what I would do is hold up here for about 30 seconds if you can, and then repeat that 3 times. At least 30 seconds. If you can go for longer, up to 45, 60 seconds would even be ideal. So try to push yourself with that one. Okay, so that's a lot of work for your lower abs. The last area that we need to address is the glutes. So again, the glutes get weak and they can't unround your pelvis. That's the last area that we need to strengthen. The exercise that I like for that, if I don't have any equipment available, again, these are all great home exercises, would be a single leg bridge. So what I'm going to do is, again, I'm on my back with my knees bent. I'm going to extend my left leg out straight. I'm going to hold that out straight while I engage my right glutes to lift my hips up towards the ceiling. I would hold that for about 3 seconds and then slowly return back down to the starting position, and then I would repeat that for repetitions. And so for this, I would do probably about 10 to 15 repetitions, and then I would switch legs, keep things even. We want to go on to the other side as well. 10 to 15 repetitions on the right, 10 to 15 repetitions on the left, and then we're going to repeat that 3 times. Hope this helps you to look and feel better. Hope to see you again soon.